Connecticut is turning its back on survivors of homicide victims. We matter. On behalf of my family and all of the victims and survivors of homicide, I am pleading with you today to abolish the inequities of the revised sentence commutation policy.
So one of our next guests speaking against the state of Connecticut amending a policy that families of crime victims say favors the state's most violent criminals, commuting their sentences and allowing years off their time. So joining us for more on this, let's welcome in Connecticut State Senator Heather Summers and Audrey Carlson. Now, I want to give some background here for our viewers. Audrey is the mother of Elizabeth Carlson. Elizabeth was killed 21 years ago by her ex-boyfriend who confessed to the crime. So first off, I just want to extend my condolences to you and your family. Audrey, almost 21 years later, and we can only imagine what's resurfaced once this case was reintroduced. Now your daughter's killer's request was denied, but how did you react when you first found out that this could have been commuted?
The word outrage is appropriate, re-victimized is appropriate, and basically feeling like we had stepped back 20 years ago when we went through the anguish, the pain, the trauma, and the fear. It was terrifying for me, my husband, and my surviving daughter, Leslie, to have to regroup, find a place to navigate through this next stage of our lives where we never expected, because this never should happen. When you understand, we very, very reluctantly accepted a 42-year plea bargain, which took a long time to make a decision with the prosecutors, the lawyers, and everyone involved, largely because the case was a premeditated murder, where had we really considered going through a trial, it would have been a 60-year sentence with a lot of wiggle room and perhaps good time, and one appeal after another being re-victimized again and again. The trauma is too much. No one should ever have to go through that. So we accepted a 42-year plea bargain, understanding that it was ironclad and that we would be able to basically feel comfortable and put our trust, our full trust in the system, in the judiciary system, that we would have peace and find our way to just understand that he would be serving a 42-year sentence while we serve a lifetime sentence.
Yeah, I can only imagine the agony that your family's going through. You've called on Governor Ned Lamont to get involved, but the response was dismissed to see how the policy works out. Senator, we found that according to Connecticut's Board of Pardons and Paroles, since this came back online, 2022 alone saw 71 prisoners granted parole. There was just 6 in the 5 years before. Who is this working for?
Well, it's clearly not working for our victims here in the state of Connecticut. And when I was contacted by the families, the first thing that we did was get to work and find out, quite frankly, the legislature had no idea this was going on. This is a board of pardon and paroles that is appointed by our governor, one of the most popular governors in the nation, Governor Ned Lamont. Out of the 15, 8 are seated, and 3 people on this board have taken it upon themselves to create this commutation policy. It's not approved by the legislature. They're the ones that are pre-screening and actually doing the commutations. 2 weeks ago, they commuted 67 years off of someone's 95-year sentence. This is outrageous. It must stop. This is re-victimizing victims, and it's time to put victims first. As Ms. Carlson has said, you know, people that commit these types of heinous crimes in a plea deal, it's a contract. You go away for 42 years. It's an agreement that all sides have agreed on. You're not expecting a day more, a day less. And now we have this board of lay people overriding sentencing judges, allowing decades to be shaved off of people's sentences. And the victims have no rights. They have no say. And as Ms. Carlson said, they've been given a lifetime sentence of loss. And it is time that this stop immediately. We have called upon the governor to stop commutations immediately, to let us revisit this policy that we had no input on. and to make sure that victims are put first in the state of Connecticut.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about in this country getting tougher on crime, and a lot of these criminals, they've had their day in court, and now they're getting these paroles. Audrey, do you think that other residents are aware of this policy where anyone incarcerated can apply for commutation, regardless of their crime and regardless of any plea agreement as well?
I'll be honest with you. One of the other parts that really was very disturbing to us was the fact that nobody knew about it. We approached a number of our legislators and our other constituents. Nobody knew anything about this because nothing has been transparent. Everyone has been in the dark, and it was really pretty awful. Yeah.
Frustration, I can imagine. Senator, what are your next steps in fighting this, and how much longer do you think this is going to last?
Well, we are not going to stop until this is changed. Actually, this coming Monday, the people that sit on this board of pardon and paroles are up for reappointment. So I'm going to be working with the Judiciary Committee members to make sure that they ask some very serious questions on how this happened. Were they given a nudge from the administration? Who decided that they now should all of a sudden start to expedite on an extensive volume of commutations? As you said, from 2016 to 2021, we had 6. Now we have 71. Last year, in total, 95 sentences commuted. This year, we have 400 people signed up. These are dangerous criminals. These are murderers, rapists, murders and rapists. This is not, low-time crime. This is something that has to be addressed, and we are not going to let up until this is changed.
All right. Well, Audrey, thank you so much, Senator Summers, for your time as well. And Audrey, our condolences again to your family. We'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up America, only here on Newsmax.